Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from the Fairgrounds Racecourse here on Saturday. It is February the 17th, 2018. We're going to look at all the stakes races on today's program from the Fairgrounds, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5 for more selections for racecourses around the world. We're going to look at all the stakes races 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the featured ninth race, which is the Racing Star. So let's get on to it, starting off with the fourth race from the Fairgrounds. It's the fourth race. It's the third running of the Colonel Power Stakes. Purse $50,000. It's for 4-year-olds and upwards. Field of 12 horses here going the distance of ground of 1,100 meters or 5.5 furlongs on the Stall Wilson turf course. 5.5, 1,100 meters. Rails out 7 feet, so just keep that in mind. Top pick in this race, I like the number 5 horse here, number 5, Holding Gold. Gonna go 5-2-6-1 in the superfecta. 5-2-6-1 super. Top pick number 5, Holding Gold. 8-5. John Velasquez gets the leg up on this Marquez trained 5-year-old gelding by Lonhro. Most recently, his horse had to start the 4th of November. That came here, that came at the Del Mar, the Breeders' Cup turf sprint. His horse finished 7th by 1 3/4 lengths that day. He broke somewhat okay, but he just didn't have the best of trips, and I do think the horses were a lot better. I think with a little bit of a break in this spot, this horse run a little bit better. Start before the 4th of September at Parks, 5 furlongs in the Grade 3 Turf Monsters. Horse finished 6th by 1 3/4 lengths. Wide post, this horse just really never showed up. Pure Sensation's a killer at that distance of 5 furlongs who won. Just wasn't his day to win. And then the Troy at Saratoga, 5.5 furlongs on the Melon in early August. Horse finished 2nd by 1 3/4 lengths. Was closing up well, just missed, but it wasn't a half bad run. This horse is making his Fairgrounds debut. Don't think that should be a problem. I do think the distance is up his alley. He should run well. In a multi-race, he would be a single for me. So to recap my bets for the 4th from the Fairgrounds, it's the 3rd running of the Colonel Power. Gonna go with the 5 horse Holding Gold. Gonna go 5-2-6-1 in the superfecta. So now let's get on to race number 5 from the Fairgrounds. The 5th race, it's the 33rd running of the Mineshaft Stakes, Grade 3, purse $150,000. It's for 4-year-olds and upwards. Field of 8 horses going the distance of ground here of 1,700 meters or 1 mile and 1/16th on the main track. 1,700 meters, mile 16th. Top pick in this race, I like the number 3 horse here, Scuba. Gonna go 3-1-5-8 in the superfecta, 3-1-5-8 super. Top pick number 3, Scuba, 7-year-old gelding by Tappet. 6-1 here, Julien Lepauz on this one for Brendan Walsh. Most recently, his horse had to start the 13th of January. Came locally here at the Fairgrounds, mile 16, 1,700 meters in Louisiana Stakes. His horse finished 2nd by 2 lengths. Was sitting about mid-pack that day after not such a good trip early on, but he closed up a little bit at the end off the layoff. It wasn't a bad run. I think 2nd off the layoff, he should run a lot better. Scuba's a very nice horse who always runs here in New York. I'm surprised I see him here in Nolans, but start before the 25th of November, my birthday at Hawthorne, a mile and a quarter in the Grade 3 Hawthorne Gold Cup. Horse won by half length that day, and that handicap had a decent weight of 117 pounds. Wide post didn't affect his horse. He closed up well and just got the lead and got up there right in time. Nice race for this horse. Before that, they ran this horse in a marathon distance, a mile 5/8 in the Temperance Hill Invitational here in New York at Belmont. He finished 6th by 14 lengths that day. It just wasn't his day to win going that distance. I do think the mile 16th, the mile and a quarter distance is right up this horse's alley. He hasn't won. If you take out the Hawthorne Gold Cup, he hasn't won. His win before that came in the marathon, Breeders' Cup Marathon in Santa Anita, mile 3 course in November of 2016. He won by 4.5 lengths after an uncontested lead. But I do think in this spot this horse should run well. Watch out for him. So to recap my bets for the 5th from the Fairgrounds, it's the 33rd running of the Mineshaft Stakes. Gonna go with the number 3 horse, number 3 Scuba. Gonna go 3-1-5-8 in the superfecta. So now let's get on to race number 6 from the Fairgrounds. The 6th race, it's the 50th running of the Albert M. Stall Memorial, per $75,000. It's your fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upwards. Field of 11 horses here going the distance of ground of 1,700 meters or about 1 mile and 1/16th on the Stall Wilson turf course. Rails at 7 feet. And I show the diagram, just gives me a second to look down at my notes, just bear with me. Top pick in this race, I like the number 4 horse here. Number 4, I'm Betty G. I'm going to go 4-2-11-6 in the superfecta. 4-2-11-6 super. Top pick number 4, I'm Betty G. 3-1. Javier Castellano coming in for the mount on this one. Most recently, his horse had to start in South Florida, January 27th at Gulfstream. 7.5 furlongs in the South Beach Stakes. Horse finished 3rd by 2 3/4 lengths that day. Broke 2nd that day. Sat back early, about stalking position, and just couldn't get a good closing kick at the end. Stormy Victoria just had a great turn of foot. Celestine finished second. Decent race for her, but this horse just couldn't catch her that day. Start before in the turf, Tropical Oaks at Gulfstream, mile 16th, 7/30th. Horse finished third by 2 lengths. Stalked most of the race, just couldn't get a good closing kick at the end. And then in the Miss Revere at Churchill, mile 16th on the yielding going November 24th. Horse finished fourth by 3 1/4 lengths that day. Again, wide posture, really never got to a good trip that day. This horse has some speed into her. The races she's won, she's had easy front end victories. I do think in this race there's not so much speed in my eyes, and I do think she could get a good lead and maybe set some niche fractions and go away with it. 3-1's a good price on this one. Javier Castellano getting the mount up. I think this horse should run well. A single for me in the multi-race, I think. So to recap my bets for the 6th from the fairgrounds, it's the 50th running of the Albert M. Stahl Memorial. Gonna go with the 4-horse I'm Betty G. Gonna go 4-2-11-6 in the superfecta. So now let's get on to race number 7 from the fairgrounds. The 7th race, it's the 38th running of the Rachel Alexandra Stakes. Grade 2 purse, $200,000, which affiliates a 3-year-olds. Field of 8 horses going the distance of ground of 1,700 meters or a mile and 1/16 on the main track. 1,700 meters, mile 16th. Road to the Kentucky Oaks with this race. Top pick in this race, I like the number 6 horse, Heavenly Love. I'm going to go 6-8-4-7 in the superfecta, 6-8-4-7 super. Top pick number 6, Heavenly Love, 6-1. Julien Leperoux on this one from Arcassi, who trains the filly by Malibu Moon. Most recently, this horse had to start the 13th of January. They came here at the fairgrounds, mile 70 in the Silver Bullet Day Stakes. Horse finished 5th by 7 1/4 lengths. Stalked that day, just couldn't get a good closing kick at the end. Didn't break that well either. I do think second off the layoff, this horse ran a little bit better. It was the horse's first starts in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. That came at Del Mar, mile 16th, November the 4th. This horse finished 11th by 25 lengths that day. Stalked early on and just hit the wall at the end. It wasn't his day to win. As the almost 4-1 third choice, I believe it just wasn't this horse's day. And then the Alcibiades at Keeneland, mile 16th, October the 6th. Horse won by 5.5 lengths. Wide poster, which is not ideal going mile 16th of Keeneland. This horse overcame it, stalked early, got the lead, and then took off clear. Very nice victory for this horse. She has some front running fashion, which I like here. 6-1's a great price on this one. I'm going to single this one. I'm really confident in this one. So to recap my bets for the 7th from the fairgrounds, it's the 38th running of the Rachel Alexandra. Gonna go with the 6 horse, Heavenly Love. Gonna go 6-8-4-7 in the superfecta. So now let's get on to race number 8 from the fairgrounds. The 8th race, it's the 32nd running of the Fairgrounds Handicap. Grade 3 purse, $150,000. It's for 4-year-olds and upwards. Field of 1,000 horses, 12 horses going the distance of ground here of 1,800 meters or about 1 mile and 1/8 on the turf course. Rails at 7 feet, so just keep that in mind. Top pick in this race, I like the number 1 horse, number 1, Thatcher Street. Gonna go 1-3-8-6 in the superfecta, 1-3-8-6 super. Top pick number 1, Thatcher Street, 12-1. Brian Hernandez Jr. is on this one for Ian Wilkes. Most recently, this horse had to start the 13th of January. They came here at the fairgrounds. Mile 16th in a Colonel Bradley handicap. Horse finished 4th by 2 lengths. Wide poster, got sent to the lead and kind of, was off and on the lead for the most of the race and just couldn't get that good closing kick at the end. Kind of weakened out of it. I do think with an inside poster, this horse could go just stalk today, and I do think this horse could run a better race. Start before the 16th of December. They came to the fairgrounds, mile 16th, and 75,000 stakes race. Horse finished 7th by 3 1/4 lengths that day. Stalked early, but just couldn't get a closing kick that day. And then a Churchill mile 8th in the River City. This horse finished 4th by 2 lengths. Another wide poster from 13 out of 13. So it's amazing how this horse finished 4th by 2 lengths against so much tougher horses. That was probably one of the horse's best races lifetime, I think. Actually also won the River City in 2016 after a fluke trip, but it just wasn't this. In 2017, it was a little different of a race. But this horse, like I said, it has a good poster today. I do think this horse should run well. She's run decent in some starts in 2017 and in 2016 and in 2018. This horse had 2 races, one not so good, one a little bit of a bad posture and overcame it a little bit. But I do think from the inside, 12-1, this horse should run well. Watch out. So to recap my bets for today's 8th race from the fairgrounds, it's the 32nd running of the Grade 3 Fairgrounds Handicap. Gonna go with the one horse Thatcher Street. Gonna go 1-3-8-6 in the superfecta. So now let's get on to today's featured 9th race. The featured 9th race from the fairgrounds, it's the 46th running of the Risen Star Stakes. Grade 2 purse $400,000 for 3-year-olds. Fields of 10 3-year-olds going the distance of ground of 1,700 meters or 1 mile and 1/16th on the main track. 1,700 meters, a mile 16th. Top pick in this race, I like the number 2 horse here, Noble Indy. Gonna go 2-9-5-4 in the superfecta. 2-9-5-4 super. Top pick number 2, Noble Indy. 5-1, 3-year-old colt by Take Charge Indy. John Velasquez coming in for the mount on this one. Most recently, this horse had 2 starts in South Florida. January 11th was the most recent one. Gulfstream Park, mile 16th, and option 5 claimer, non-1. Horse won by 3/4 of the length. Just stalked early on, got the lead, and then took away. It was a nice victory for this horse. Before that at Gulfstream, 7 furlongs in the main special weight for 42,000. This horse won that day by 8 3/4 lengths. Broke second that day, but went straight to the lead, and then looked back. A very nice, easy, clear victory. But to keep in mind, this horse was fractious right before going in the gate, so they did settle it next start out a little bit. But I do think the distance is right up this horse's alley. He has a good posture. He looks like he's the main speed, and I do think he should run well in this spot. 5-1, he's a single for me in the multi-race. So to recap my bets now for the 9th from the fairgrounds, it's the 46th running of the Grade 2 Risen Star Stakes. Gonna go with the number 2 horse, Noble Indy. Gonna go 2-9-5-4 in the superfecta. So good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everybody.